Okay, more graphing using a table of values. Okay, so I'm going to show you the other way of graphing tomorrow, and I'm hopefully get my document camera working. So today we're going to concentrate on graphing using tables of values. Okay. So there is a shortcut for graphing lines that I'm going to show you tomorrow. But for today, we're going to just graph with a table of values. In Intro to Algebra, they do both. They do both, so you have to know how to graph both ways. Okay, so this one is not going to be a basic graph. This is going to be this equation. So 2x minus, we'll do minus 3. Let's not do minus 3. I don't want too many negatives. Let's do plus 1. Let me check on Brianna. I think she's getting a text. Still not working. It says she joined but can't see or hear anything. Okay, that's annoying. Oh, yeah. That might happen. Okay. Okay. So for this one, we're going to do the same plan. Oops. The same plan as what we were doing before. Okay, so we still want to do a graph. And we're going to still make the same table of values. Okay, there we go. There will be a shortcut for this, though. So the method that I show you tomorrow will be faster. But this is a way that will always work if you're given a new shape. Okay, so this is the table of values way. This shape is going to be a line. Okay, and I recognize the format because we have in the future, so we'll put future, which is tomorrow. So let's put tomorrow. So tomorrow we're going to learn y equals mx plus b. You've probably learned that before, but tomorrow we're going to learn y equals mx plus b. So this looks like that equation, and these are lines. Lines look like that. Okay, so let me show you what we do. I'm going to actually show you slightly different than I showed you on the last one because it takes more work to work this one out. Okay, so we're going to make a little line here. And then over here, we're going to label what our x is. So x equals -2. And remember how we did last step in the elimination problems? That's what we're going to do. We're going to substitute it in. My pen's not working right now. I'm drawing an arrow, but it's not working. Let's see, I'm on the color. My tablet's frozen. Let's try again. Okay, it's working now. Okay. What you're going to do is you're going to take this. Oops, I'm on eraser at the moment. There we go. So what you're going to do is you're going to take this -2 and you're going to substitute it in right here for x. So you're going to write y equals 2, and negatives have to be put in parentheses. So -2 plus 1. And then let me show you maybe with a highlighter. See the 2, the y equals, and the 1? All of that's staying. See the y, the 2, and the 1? That's all staying. So the only thing that's changing is this x in the middle is changing to be a -2. So what you're doing is replacing. Okay, and then let me show you the next one. Okay, and then we'll work these out in a minute, but I want to show you the structure. So x equals -1. You're going to put the -1 in where the x position is. So it's going to be y equals, you are going to put the 2, you're going to put a parenthesis, and you're going to put +1. So the yellow part, if you can look at this, the yellow part stays the same. So the only thing I'm doing different is instead of putting x in the middle, I'm putting the number -1. Okay, so I'm putting a -1 in the middle here. So that's the only thing that I'm doing differently. Okay, so try the next one. So the next one is x equals 0. Okay, and then you need some space. X equals 1. And then x equals 2. Oops. Then x equals 2. Okay, so try just that substitution step, and then I'll show you what to do from there. Any of you guys have suggestions for Brianna? She said when she logs in on her phone, she's not able to see or hear anything. It says she joined, but then says it's not working. Okay, so this is y equals 2, and then I'm going to put the 0 in there, plus 1. Y equals 2, I'm going to put the 1 in there, plus 1. Y equals 2, and I'm going to put the 2 in there, plus 1. So what I'm rewriting is I'm rewriting the original equation's yellow parts. Okay, so the yellow parts I'm putting the yellow parts, and I'm not putting the blue part. So in the blue part, right here, I'm putting it into where the blank is. So I have to put a new number in each of those spots. I probably should have used numbers that weren't 2 and 1, because now all of them are 2. A little confusing when you see it. Okay, so let me highlight this. And then the reason why we did it in this spacing and not the way I had shown you before is because you have a couple steps to work it out. Okay, so y equals. So what is 2 times negative 2? Because this is a times. What's 2 times negative 2? Anyone? What's 2 times negative 2? Are you guys still writing the rest out? Because I know you guys know what 2 times negative 2 is. I don't know if you're on a different part. Are you able to hear me? Let's see. Okay. What's negative 4 plus 1? Okay. That's true. It is negative 3. Negative because the 4 is bigger. Y equals. So what you get when you do it, when you write it this way, is you get the coordinate. So do you see where it says x is negative 2? So you put that first. And then y is negative 3. You put that second. And then usually you put the negative 3 also in the table. Okay, so look at the table and look at this chart. Okay, so this is one way of graphing. They call it table of values at the high school level. At the middle school level, they might have called it an XY chart. And depending on your teacher, the teacher might call it an XY chart and might call it a table of values. Okay. And what's funny is when we teach calculus, because I'm a calculus teacher too, and when we teach calculus and somebody forgets how to graph something, they forget that there's the table of values way. But the table of values way is a way that will always work. It's just that you kind of want to know, maybe guess what shape it might be first, because otherwise you don't know how many points you'll have to graph. Like maybe you'd have to graph 20 if you're really not sure what it makes. If you know it makes a line, then you don't really have to make as many, or a parabola usually. The last two graphs, the parabola, which was the u, and the absolute value, which was the v. Usually people graph those. They just graph 5 points, sometimes 3 points. Okay, so I'm in the second column. Okay, so I'm at the x is negative 1. Okay, so we're working that one out. So what's 2 times negative 1? Anyone? What's 2 times negative 1? Negative 2, and then I have a plus 1. And what's negative 2 plus 1? Negative 1, yes. Okay, so then that would be the coordinate negative 1 for x, and then negative 1 for y. And then usually you also write it in the table. Okay, y equals 2 times 0? Okay, 0 plus 1. And what's 0 plus 1? 1. Okay, and then what coordinate would that be? So what would my parenthesis point be? I agree, Jeremy. Just make sure you use the parentheses, okay? Because that tells you the order matters. So he's right. He said put the 0 first, because it says up here x equals 0. So x is first, and then y is second, and y turned out to be 1. And then also put that in your table, 0, 1 in your table. And then the answer to that one is 0, 1. 0, 1, because it says the x value in that middle column is a 0. So the x is a 0, and then the y is a 1. Okay, what about the next one? What's 2 times 1? That's 2, right? Plus 1. 2 plus 1 would be 3. And then, except for anyone but Jeremy, what do you feel like that coordinate would be? Yes, I agree. So that's 1, 3. And then when you're writing it on your paper, make sure you have the parentheses, because parentheses means the order matters. That's why when they use the parentheses, they call it an ordered pair. Okay, and then this one is y equals 4 plus 1, y equals 5. And then what coordinate would that be? Somebody besides Jeremy and Franz. And use the parentheses. Oh, my chat. So what would the coordinate? So somebody besides Franz and Jeremy, can you write me the coordinate for the fifth one? So you're going to put the x first and then the y. Yes, I agree. So 2 for the x and 5 for the y. Okay. Oh, and I need to fill these out in my table. So left, right, and up, down. And we're practicing graphing points at the same time as we're practicing making these shapes. Usually I do them separate. Like today we would only graph points. And then the next day we would graph shapes. And then the next day I would teach you a shortcut for graphing lines. But we're trying to kind of condense 2 days in the same day. Okay, so let's write the right, left, up, down stuff. Okay, so I'm looking at the first coordinate. Okay, so I'm looking at this one, the first coordinate, the red underline. You don't have to red underline it, but that's the one I'm looking at, the one with the red underline. What I want to know is left, right, up, down. So I want to know how I'm going, what's my plan for graphing -2, 3. So what's my plan? And then anyone can answer. So what's my plan for graphing -2, -3? Does the -2 mean to go left, right, up, or down 2? So what's the -2 telling me to do? Go left, right, up, or down? I agree. So that's left 2. And then what about the -3? What about the -3? Would that be left, right, up, or down? The y value has to be an up or a down. So what would a -3 be? Let me just pick somebody then. Let's see, Thelma. What would a -3 be for y? Would that be up 3 or down 3? Thelma, would that be up 3 or down 3? Zyla, would that be up 3 or down 3? You guys, it looks like I got lost here. So I see you guys answering, but it seems like the one on my computer got lost. So let me try to get back. It's not letting me rejoin on my computer. Okay, there we go. So it looks like you guys were answering and I couldn't see it. So let's see. Somebody answered, I think. I saw it. How do I see chat here? Right, chat's right there. Down 3. Okay, perfect. Oh, and friends, you said that a long time ago, huh? Look. Okay. So let's go back to this one. So this is down 3. Okay. Okay, so Jabriel, what about -1, -1? Which one would that be? So what would -1, -1 be in directions? The first coordinate has to be left or right, and the second coordinate has to be up or down. So the first coordinate is left or right, and the second coordinate is up or down. So which direction would that be? So Jabriel? And it's okay if you're wrong, I just need an answer. Gabriel, we're on this one right here. Okay. So the first coordinate is going to be left or right. Okay, so let's do the yellow first. So Gabriel, you're right. Yeah, so the yellow one is the left, and then the blue one is the down. Okay. Okay, Emily, what about the middle one? Oh, Emily just got here. She just got off and then back on. Thelma, what about the middle one? So Thelma, what about, I'm going to uncircle this red one. I'm going to circle this one. So Emily, what about that one? How much right and left? Thelma, sorry. Because Emily had logged out and she just got back in. So would the 0 be left or right, Thelma? Well, you could actually choose. Yeah, so let's call it right, but let's call it right 0. That one's actually confusing one to graph, so we're going to call it right 0. And then what about the 1? Thelma, what about the 1? Yeah, up 1. I agree. Okay, we are going to call that one right 0 because that's the most tricky one to graph. So let's put a little star on this one. This is the one most people miss when they graph it. Usually they get the other ones right. Okay, Emily, how about the 4th one? So I'm going to uncircle this one, and I'm going to circle this one. So would the 1 be right or left? So Emily. So would the 1 be right or left? And then you're going to answer whether the 3 would be up or down. So you want to figure out which way the 1, 3 is going to go when you're graphing it. 1 is right. I agree. And then what about the 3? The 3 is a second number, so it's a blue. So it's up or down. Yes, so that would be up 3. I didn't mean to make that in blue there. Okay. And then Zyla, what about the last one? So I'm going to erase this red circle and then circle this one just so you could see it. So that 2, 5, which way would that one go? Which 2 directions? So Zyla. So the first one has to be right or left. And the second one has to be up or down. Zyla, what do you think? What do you think about the 2? Is that right 2 or left 2? Now, you guys, I'm not sure if these are hard questions or I'm not sure if you're getting distracted on your computers doing something else. So it's hard for me to tell. So I think we're going to need to do faces. So when we come back, we're going to need to do faces, okay? And then we'll just leave them up. Okay, because otherwise I'm not sure if you guys are walking away. Okay, so Zyla, would the 2 be right or left? It's 50-50. Zyla, would the 2 be right or left? Is it positive or negative? Okay, Brandon, can you tell me 2, 5? Where would 2, 5 go? Is it me again? Hey, Brandon, can you tell me where 2, 5 would go? Unknown sender. Hmm. Maybe it's me. Can anybody hear me? Thank you, Franz. Because you guys don't need to be sitting here like this when people might not be online. So we're definitely gonna have to do the faces. And then I know that Jabriel and Emily, you guys can't do faces, but usually when I ask for you guys are there. So Zyla, are you here? Brandon, are you here? Can you type here if you guys are here? Okay. Okay, I don't need everyone. I just need Zyla. Yeah, I know the rest of you guys are here. But Zyla, are you here? Okay. Okay, so you guys, let's graph this one. Yeah, so that's the problem. Zyla's not here. That's why she wasn't answering. Okay. Okay. Let's graph this one. Hey, Zyla, are you here? And I text her. Zyla, are you? Okay, so for this one, you guys can't see the graphs very much, right? Oh, there we go. You could see that better. Okay, so let's do our instructions. So you said left to, okay, so we're gonna do our 1, 2, 3 labels, okay? So 1, 2, 3, and make sure they're on the like the graph paper squares. And then up you can do 1, 2, 3. So as long as you label like that in high school, you should be okay. Depending on who your teacher is, they might ask you to label more. So then you would find that out. She's not answering me there. Okay, so what's the question? Left two, down 3. Okay, so I'm going to do my red dots again, just so you could see it. Hopefully you guys can see it on this. Okay, so here's my first red dot. So I start there, and I go left 2, 1, 2, and then it says go down 3. So you go down 1, down 2, down 3, and then you put it on. Okay, the second one is left 1, down 1. So left 1, down 1. I'm going to erase my red dots. Hold on, let me get my graph back. So I'm going left 1 and then down 1. And then this is where I make my big dot. Okay, now this is the most confusing one. You want to put right 0 instead of say don't go 0, because you want to say go right 0. So don't go left or right is basically what you're saying. Only go up 1. Because lots of people put it right here. So let's put a little arrow and put not 0, 1. So lots of people accidentally graph it where my green dot is. Okay. And then 1, 3 would be right 1 and then up 3. And then right 2, up 5. Okay, right 2, you go right to the 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And like I said, the dots aren't necessary. The dots are just showing you how I'm counting because I'm not using my document camera. And it should be a straight line. This one's supposed to be a straight line. Okay, let's do another one. And then I'm going to give you time to do your homework. Okay, so let's do 3x plus 4. So xy. So what numbers do we put in the x spot? So what are our 5 numbers to put in the x spots? So can anybody type in what numbers we put in the x spot? And Zyla, are you back? Zyla, are you back? Zyla, can you type here if you're here? Okay, Zyla, I was trying to talk to you for like, I don't know, 10 minutes. And then I sent you a text. And you didn't answer. So we're doing cameras at 11:30. And then we're just leaving the cameras on from 11:30 to 1. Because you guys keep disappearing, and it's very hard for us to all to make progress if I call on someone and then they're not there. Because what I don't know is if you don't understand or that you're just disappeared and then I'm waiting for somebody who's not even there. I do that in class sometimes accidentally. Like I'll call on someone and they're like, oh, that person went to the bathroom, Miss Nichols, and I forgot, right? So, and then I'm like, okay, but somebody tells me, right? But we don't know. So, okay. So you guys, this isn't going to work if you guys are distracted by doing other things. Okay. Okay. So, anybody? Can somebody tell me, anyone? Can somebody tell me what numbers we've been putting in the X positions? Like, what have we been substituting in? What X numbers? Um, no, let's look at our tables. You know, I'm not sure you guys understand my question. So if you look at all the tables, so look at this table of this one. Look at the X numbers in the table. No. Look at the X numbers in the table that I'm showing right now. Look at all the X numbers. Oh, you know, you might think they're linked to the main equation. Look at these X numbers. And then look at these X numbers. So actually the X numbers that I'm picking don't have to do with the problem. They're always the same X numbers. So see these X numbers right here? So look at those 5 numbers. And then ready? Let's look at the X numbers for the next one. Okay, and then let's look at the X numbers for this one. Okay, so what are the 5 X numbers that I'm supposed to put in my table? So you'll always put the same numbers in your table. So what are those X numbers? Can you guys give me the list of the yellow X numbers? Those X numbers. And you don't need to highlight them. I'm going to unhighlight them right now. But these numbers right here. What were those? What were those numbers? What were all those X numbers? What's the first X number in the list? Anyone? What's the first X number in the table? Yes, I agree. So a -2 is the first X number in the table. Okay, what's the second X number in the table? Yes, I agree. What's the next X number in the table? I agree. Next X number? I agree. And the last X number? Okay. So those are the X numbers that we're going to put across. Okay, so we're going to put X is -2, X is -1. You need a little bit of space. X equals 0, X equals 1, and X equals 2. The reason we're spending a whole week on graphing is because graphing is pretty important in high school math. Okay, so it's pretty important. So we want to make sure that that you get better at it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to write the equation. Okay, but instead of using highlighter, okay, so instead of using highlighter, I'm gonna put the number in red pen. So basically, I'm writing all of them out exactly the same way. Okay, I'm writing them just out, but what I'm doing is the X, I'm leaving blank for the moment. Okay, so leave the X for the moment. Leave it blank. Okay. So in red, I'm changing to red. So in the first parentheses, I'm putting a -2 because it says x is -2, and I'm putting it in the x spot. Okay, what should be in the parentheses for the second one? Yes, I agree. And the third one? Zero. Okay, let's try somebody else. Zyla, what should I put in the fourth parentheses? So Zyla, what should I put in the fourth parentheses? Yes, I agree. Okay, and then Brandon, what should I put in the fifth parentheses? Okay, good. Okay, good. So you guys are understanding this because I'm not sure, when distance learning started, I don't know what you didn't learn in those 2 months. So I'm not sure if graphing is something that you didn't do. I should ask your middle school teachers. Okay, so now we need to work them out. Okay, so the first one, Jeremy, Jeremy, I'm going to have you do the first one, okay? So Jeremy, what's 3 times -2? Okay, and then I'm going to bring down the 4. And then Jeremy, what's -6 plus 4? Okay, I agree. And then what would the coordinate be? And use parentheses, Jeremy, okay? Okay, I agree. Okay, France, can you do the second one for me? What is 3 times -1? Hey, France, what's 3 times -1? France is pretty quick, so he may have walked away. Let's have somebody else do this one. Emily, what's 3 times -1? Okay, I agree. And then I still have the plus 4. And then Emily, what's -3 plus 4? Okay, I agree. And then write it as a coordinate with a parenthesis. -1, 1. Perfect. Okay, so Emily, that makes sense to you, makes sense to Jeremy. Okay, Gabriel, how about the middle one? What is 3 times 0? Yes, Thelma, but I was doing Gabriel. Gabriel, the question was what's 3 times 0? You're doing the middle one for me. Okay, and then I keep the plus 4. And then what's 0 plus 4? Gabriel, we're still on you. You're going to do the whole middle one for me. 4, I agree. And then what would it be as a coordinate? Exactly. Perfect. And then just make sure you include the parentheses. Okay. Zyla, what's the, I'm going to have you do the fourth one for me. Okay, so what is 3 times 1? So Zyla, what's 3 times 1? Perfect. And then I have my plus 4. And then what's 3 plus 4? 7, exactly. And then what would the coordinate be? Use parentheses when you write it down. Almost. Very close. The X, I'm going to highlight the X for you. So the X is written here. So revise your coordinate. Yes, so rewrite your coordinate. So the X is first and then the Y. So your Y 7 was correct. So what would your coordinate be? 1 7, perfect. Okay, and then let's see who else is in the list. Carissa, I haven't heard from you in a while. Carissa, what's 3 times 2? And then plus 4. And then Carissa, what's 6 plus 4? I agree. And then the coordinate, and use parentheses in your coordinate. So you have to look for the X and then look for the Y. 210. Perfect. Okay, let's put these in the table. So you're putting the Y coordinates in the table because your X coordinates are already in the table. Okay, so I'm just going to circle what I just did so you can see it. I just put the red numbers. The circle, the red, that's just for your attention so you know where we're writing. Okay, and then let's label with left, right, up, down. Okay, so Brandon, can you tell me the first coordinate? Now, we know that the first coordinate's always right or left, and the second coordinate is up or down. So I'm now looking at this red circle. So Brandon, can you tell me which way I will graph that one? Using left, right, up, down, or L, U, D, all those letters. So Brandon, can you tell me what I do for the -2, -2? Where would I graph that? Left 2, down 2. I agree. Okay, so this one is left 2, down 2. Okay. Thelma, what about the second one? So I'm gonna circle the second one so you know which one I'm on. So which one would that one be? Which direction? Um, I'm on the new red circle. So I agree with you, but your numbers are wrong. But I agree with your directions. Yeah, yeah. So left 1 and then up 1. Yeah, perfect. Okay. Okay, and then let's see. Fran, what about the middle one? Can you tell me what directions, Fran's, the middle one is? Oh, it's what I want to, you know, these red labels here. I want to make the label for this coordinate, the one I just circled. So what's the 0 for? Which way? Is it like left, right, up, or down? I'm going to give you a hint on the right because the 0 is weird. So it's right 0. Even though, like, is it positive? Is it negative? But what about the 4? Is the 4 up or down? Yes, yes. Right 0, up 4. So on the ones with the 0, you guys definitely write the right 0 portion. Okay. And then I just call that labeling the coordinates with R, U, D, or L. Okay. The fourth one. Zyla, which direction would the fourth one go? So I'm going to circle it for you. This one right here. So which directions is that when you graph it? And then Jabriel, I'm going to have you do the fifth one. Zyla, right 1 up 7. I agree. Right 1 up 7. And then Jabriel, can you do the fifth one? Jabriel, you're writing the 210. You're deciding right, left, up, or down on the 210. Okay, and then you guys, I need a graph that's going to go up kind of high. So you need to find a spot on your paper where you can graph a tall graph. Jabriel, are you here? Put here if you're here. Oh, okay, sounds good. So you're going to decide if this one's right or left, and this one's up or down. Oh, Jabriel, you mean you're still writing out the notes? Oh, okay, that makes sense. Okay, so let's have somebody else do the 210. Because Gabriel just meant that he still has a lot to copy in the note. So let's pick somebody else for that. Let's see. Thelma? Sure. Sure, Jeremy. Can you tell me what it is? Right 2 up 10. Yes. And you guys, it is a lot to write, right? Our notes are very extensive. Okay. So now we have to graph all these. Okay. So left 2, left 2, down 2. Put a dot. Left 1, up 1. Put a dot. I'm gonna zoom in. Don't go right. Only go up 4. Right 1. up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're looking like they're in a straight line because these are supposed to be in a straight line. Oops. Except, oh no, I think that one was right. Okay. And then 2 is right. Oh, 2 is right 2 and up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Maybe I'll put a 10 here and a 7 here. And then all those dots are strange. So it's like having these dots here. It would be strange to have those drawn in. I'll get back to, hold on. Let me get back the axes back. And then this is your line. And these are supposed to be straight lines. I'm going to check what homework you guys were on. Let's see, 51, 52. Okay, 53. So homework 53. I'm going to make this one 15 points. And then this is using your notes for homework 16. Okay, and then we'll go back and do the homework that's related to homework 15 later on. Okay, so we're going to do the one that's related to what you just learned. Okay, so number 1. We're going to do 3x plus 2. Use a table of values. And these are the x values that you're going to pick, okay? So I'm telling you which ones to pick to graph. Okay, I'm going to give you 2 of these. I'm going to give you 2 of these. The instructions are the same. And then separately, I'm going to give you some to just graph points. We have 15 minutes. Maybe I'll just give you 1 of these. And then 2 will just be to graph these points. Okay, and 3 is going to be to graph points. Okay, so graph points and label left, right, up, down. Okay. So this will be 1 graph, this will be 1 graph, this will be 1 graph. Okay, so the ones in 3 and 2, you can graph on the same picture. So you're going to have 3 graphs total. And these won't make lines. The number 2 and 3 won't make lines. Okay, so I only gave you one of the long ones. Oh, so actually it's not called Notes for Homework 16. It's called Using Math Notes 16. Sorry. And you're going to set this one up just like you set up the last one. The only difference is this one's +2 and the other one was +4. I'm going to turn off the video for